Hello everyone, welcome back if you're a regular visitor to the Akuru Studios. Today the mailman arrived a bit early. It's Sunday in Melbourne, 38 degrees, so sorry I got the aircon running if you hear something humming in the background. Anyway, I decided to buy this baby. It's Panorama CS12 from Nektar. Saw some videos on YouTube that basically said that this might be the best for Cubase right now. And I agree, it just sounded really good in terms of integration. You who have seen my questions in the group here, I was on my way to buy second-hand PreSonus 16 faders control. But I posted basically a question, would you recommend or do you think it's a good idea to have a control surface? And I received a lot of, I actually posted that in 4 groups, 2 Cubase users and 2 home studio groups. And a lot of people said all you need is 1 fader, depending on how you work obviously. And I use a lot of, a group. So let's say I got 4 guitars. I balance them up and then I put the, I think it's called a VCR fader on the guitars, and at the end when I fine tune the balance between drums, bass, guitars, strings and stuff, I tweak it a little bit. So I think this might be what I need. The benefit with these, according to the video I saw, is basically the control knobs and the integration that also include plugins and a good screen. I think that's the big flag for me with the PreSonus 16 faders. Wasn't much on screens. It was a little screen that basically was more or less useless, people said. So yeah, I'm gonna unpack this baby and see how it fits on my my desk. You see my desk, I actually use the keyboard obviously heaps now because I don't have a control surface, and I hope it will fit in nicely here so I don't need to rearrange too much. So here's some quick start guide, instructions and a USB cable. That's about it in the box. It feels quite good, it's all metal. The knobs plastic, push buttons or rubbery. It doesn't feel cheap. It doesn't feel overly expensive either. I paid just under $800 Australians for this new. I'm going to check how it fits on the desk. That will do. Space for the standard keyboard. Yeah, let's see what this is going to achieve for my workflow. Going to hook it up as well. Apparently you don't need a power supply. It actually grabs all the power it needs through the USB, which is quite handy. Alright, I now loaded the software, and basically once you loaded the software in the control unit itself, that you just go to Nektar website, download the appropriate software depending on what DAW you use, and then you also load the software for Cubase. So all you need to tell is if you're running Windows or Mac and what version. That was straightforward. After that I just restarted the unit and then started Cubase, and it worked immediately. Most of the stuff I've been looking at, so I've been playing for about 30 minutes, and it's very straightforward, and of course that's for the things that is obvious, and the things that doesn't seem obvious I will have to go to the user manual. I loaded a project that I'm working on at the moment, so let's see now. So I removed my keyboard that I'm so used to use all the shortcuts there, and what I have is my tracking ball to Kensington, and I have programmed a few commands and stuff on that one that I'm very used to use frequently. I'm going to try to avoid use that and just use the surface. And remember, I haven't looked in the manual and I only played for about 30 minutes. So obviously this is play.
She stands in the juice and blue.
And stop, so that's pretty simple. Jump to the beginning, gotta be this one, yes. And the fader went down, so I got volume automation. On this channel we can have a look at the fader now when we started. So I use a couple of synths. I use a couple of synths here in the beginning, and I fade in and out a little bit, so there's a lot of automation. If I open up that quickly, you can see on the screen here the volume goes all over the place. So that seems to work all right. What I can see as well is the panning. Well, that's automated as well, so I've got to turn off reading, but yeah, the panning, that's easy to change, and you see it on the screen. That's all good. Let's go back with that one. It's armed for recording. I can turn that off. I can mute it. I can solo it. When I turn off the solo, all the mute is still there, which is sort of a Cubase thing. Anyway, I don't know how, so that's something to read in the manual. I can see the plugin on this little screen, and you obviously see it here on this screen as well. What's happened if I deactivate the plugins here one by one, that gets deactivated on the screen. These buttons here represent plugins. So yellow for Mod Machine, I can push that one, and it will download all the settings for the plugin. The plugin doesn't come up on the screen automatically, but I can push this button, and there it is. And there is 12 control knobs on the right side that are color coded, and they are mapped to the plugin that you see on the screen here. So that would be the beginning, the delay. You can see the parameters change there, next knob, next knob, next knob, and so forth. So you can see on this little screen here, the blue, there are the colors that match most of them here. And also there is selection buttons here, so this filter, I can work on the nudge inside there, parameters for that, sync parameters and so forth. I can go back to the overall channel strip, and here let's click the Abbey Road J37 type, because that's not a Cubase plugin. That seems like that's mapped as well. If I bring that up on the screen, let's change the speed. Where is the speed button on? I'm not so used to. Oh yeah, there. So that's the speed. There is. I will have to do. Yep, it switch over there when I pass a certain threshold. So that's all mapped as well. Page 1, page 2, so there's a lot of different parameters to adjust on this plugin. But it works anyway, and I'll go back to the one plugin that I think if you're a Cubase user, you probably use frequency quite a lot. That's a bit complex as well. Let's see how that, yeah, so mapping changed. Let's bring it up on the screen. So first knobs, I guess, would be, yep, it changes the first frequency band. So that's the amount of gain or reduction, the first one. What if I move down? Yeah, change the frequency field, you could say, and that would be, yep, that's the slope. So that's pretty straightforward. Now, will be interesting to work deeper into that, because if you use frequency, you know there's a lot there. You can sidechain and dynamic stuff. So here is a number of buttons as well. Date 10 to control, yeah, okay, switch on and off the frequency band. Anyway, it will be interesting to dive deeper into this, but overall the general feel is that it's quite easy to understand, and it seems to be mapped to all the basic things. One thing I notice is that complex stuff takes a little while to load. If I go back to, let's say, something else, the mod machine, I push the button, and there's a wait of, what could it be, like 4 seconds or something until it's remapped. I guess it's a lot of data that need to go through the USB cable. Going back is quicker, obviously, to just clear the data, I guess. Shift there closes all the plugins on the screen. I can easily drop markers. I got 3 markers already dropped. It's going to use my little tracking ball and drop another marker here, holding down that and drop. That's marker 5. Then I can activate markers here, and the lights goes off on these buttons, and you sort of only see the text, which is marker 1, 2, 3 up to 10. So I can jump. I got marker 1 at the end of the project, marker 2, 3, 4, and so forth. Yeah, I guess, you know, this is not to review the whole thing, and I'm sure there is a lot more to learn, but the immediate reaction, or the immediate sort of feel that I get, is that it's very intuitive, and it must be easy to map it. I saw in a review on YouTube, the guy mapped some plugin that wasn't mapped, and that went really quick. He color coded the buttons in the colors that he wanted to have to make it sort of line up with the Cubase plugins. So that's going to be fun to do, because I got a couple of plugins that I use quite frequently that isn't standard Cubase. Anyway, I might get back with another video in a month's time or so, just get some feedback, you know, down the track. Hopefully it speeds up my work and make it more fun. I'm already enjoying using it. It's just a different way than just using my tracking ball and the screen. So thanks for watching, and welcome back whenever, and happy studio working. Cheers.